it was a couple of weeks of me pouting and whatever, but I didn't know about the sincere apology, but I went to Steve and I apologized and I said, Steve, I'm so sorry. That's never been my thing, but you gave me wings and I flew a little too fast, too high, so I need to calm down,
You obviously and Master Sexton go way back.
Yes, sir.
But very openly and publicly, it's online. You both have talked about this. There is a time for sure where you both found each other frustrating, to say the least.
Yeah.
And we're beyond that now, but you've both been so public about it, which I think is fascinating and wonderful to hear, that a teacher and a friend and a student can have this time and then talk about it for people to hear.
Well, there's a lot of things that we disagree on, but we were never disagreeable. But I was young. I started, kind of exploring the tournament world and different styles, and I got a little out of line. I remember one Sunday I came back, and he had come in and taken all his pictures off the walls. And anything that belonged to him, anything there's a picture of me and him, then him, took it all off. And I was like, what? So I, went to his house and that night, Sunday, and I said, Steve, he goes, well, you're doing all this stuff, but it's not Hapkido. You're doing all, teaching some of this stuff, you're changing some of my stuff, and it's not my thing, and, I don't want to have anything to do with it. And so that was another, kind of harsh thing for me that, I kind of stepped back, didn't say anything, didn't talk for a week or two or something, Yeah,
but what were you feeling in those right then? That's kind of where,
I think,
to me.
it took me out of the coach mode. Like, there's a difference between a coach, instructor, and a teacher. I think I was just being a coach. Like, I would see something cool and I'd come and teach it. Mm-hmm. I would see something, whatever, I would come and teach it. You know what I mean? So instead of saying, wait a minute, and I can, by the way, I should mention this now. I've literally have studied with the best in the world, literally. Right. Every style. There's never been a single thing that I've done that I thought, oh my God, I've never done this before. Somehow with Steve in our Hapkido training, we did it.
Right.
I just never paid attention to it. So it's like a good old diamonds in the backyard, right? It was always there. We had all this stuff in there,
Diamonds in the backyard. I love that.
Yeah. That's a great example of that. But it was a couple of weeks of me pouting and whatever, but I didn't know about the sincere apology, but I went to Steve and I apologized and I said, Steve, I'm so sorry. That's never been my thing, but you gave me wings. And I flew a little too fast, too high, so I need to calm down, and I did. I really did. I went back to my basics, but every time I try to improve on something, I asked for his blessing. That's what I missed. I didn't ask for his blessing about some of this stuff. I started doing forms. I started doing some of the kicks a little bit differently. And Steve was the type of teacher who's my way or the highway. Mm-hmm. He does it this way, he does this, and that's it. Every class, you know what I mean? And I was like, so in a way, I wanted to be like him.
Right. And
what are the two ways you can be like someone? Do exactly what they do, or do opposite of what they do, because you're still trying to be like them, right? So I think that's what happened. I tried to do all this other stuff, but it brought me back to him. It brought me back to, then when I started studying with people that he looked up to, Sensei Benny, you know what I mean? Jihan J, people that he thought, oh, now you're going to a right spot. Don't go to these tournaments thinking, this and this and this is the ultimate. Yeah, now you need to go. Then I brought, in a way to not to make him feel good, but I brought his heroes into my world, and eventually to his world, to see, like I said, Sensei Benny and Jihan J and all these people, and some of the best in the country, in the world, so then he forgave me. He's like, okay, now you're getting you got your foundation. Now you can fly, but from the right source. You know, I just didn't want you to think like you're going to go out there in the tournament world thinking that's real,
Right.
you know? So that was another thing with Steve that I never forget.
Do you think he saw a lot in you, so expected more in you, and maybe like a parent, you weren't fulfilling it, and he's like, this is how I'm going to put him on track? Was it that? And how much of it was just frustrated because maybe you were just a little cocky?
You know, I think a little bit of everything, but I think in this whole thing, he grew also.
Okay.
And he told me that he had a hard time letting me go.
Okay, interesting.
You know what I mean? And he admitted to that, which I really appreciate. But he grew because of that too.
Right.
Like, no, you know what? I'm proud that you're doing this. Before it was like, no, why aren't you not doing it my way? You know, and there's a lot of people who like, you know, this is the way it's supposed to be done. But after I did all that stuff, I think there was a part of him that went, oh, you know, there is another world. There's another thing. And I'm glad that you're doing this. But what I missed was asking for his blessing. But when I did, and he was comfortable with it, he opened arms, just went, great.
Right.
You want to do it this way? Great. You know, let's talk about it. Right? Then, and I made sure that in all of our training, he was never forgotten. I mean, you know, Jay's great, Sensei Benny's great, you know, all the people, you know, Ron Blakey, all the people that I've trained with. But I only had one teacher, and that was Steve. I mean, he's the one that introduced me to all of this and opened my mind and my heart to be able to accept what martial arts is.